Home buyers are frustrated, more frustrated than I've ever seen in my 16-year career, and more frustrated than most realtors have ever seen. I'm also seeing realtors frustrated. Why? There's not enough homes to choose from. Sellers, you're missing the boat, my friends. You're missing it. Every single year I tell sellers, list in the winter. That's when you will sell for the most money. And about 10% listen to me. And I'm seeing that right now. Really more than ever. And I know part of that's the virus. People don't want to. Anthony Lamacchia here with Lamacchia Realty, and I am going to spend probably the next 45 minutes talking most specifically about Massachusetts. We're also finalizing our New Hampshire report, our Florida report. Those are coming out, New Hampshire tomorrow, Florida later this week. But I'm going to talk about Massachusetts, okay? That's where we do most of our business, and it warrants a lot of time. As I said, buyers have had it up to here. Sellers, you're missing the boat. I know of 2 separate open houses over the weekend that the police showed up. Police went to the open houses because there was just so much traffic. Things were in complete disarray in the street. Too many people on the sidewalks. I saw pictures of people waiting in line in 20 degrees for a half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour just to get into homes. Why is this happening? See, some buyers, and I have to say, sometimes it's the realtor's fault. They don't educate their buyers enough. And that's what I want to do here. Whether you're buying a home from one of our Lamacchia agents or from another company, I want you to get education out of this. I want you to understand what's going on in the housing market and why this is occurring. What I first want to do is show you this document right here. This is a MLS on market snapshot, okay? I'm showing you this straight from the MLS, 9:54 this morning. This is an actual report in CSF, that's single families for sale in Massachusetts. This column represents January 25th, 2020. How many homes were on the market at that time? This column represents 2021. Watch this. 6,664 homes, single family homes for sale 1 year ago today. Today, 3,014. Yes, folks, you heard that correctly. 6,664 down to 3,014. Yes, inventory is literally down 60% for single family homes. That, my friends, is why you're dealing with what you're dealing with. What you're seeing is, and look at this average price, $847,000. Now the average price is over $1 million. So all those people that said the housing market would crash, yeah, how was that prediction? Not a good one, right? I was the one that went against the grain because I was certain that we wouldn't see that. But I'll be honest, there was something I was wrong on, and I'm going to show you that in a few minutes when I go into my 2020 report. But I wasn't wrong about prices. I knew they weren't going to go down, especially in single family. So I wanted to show you that. Look at what a decline in the amount of homes for sale that there is. That is the why. Now, if you're a home seller, you should be hearing that going, wait a second, I want to sell in March. Maybe I should sell now. Maybe I should sell sooner. What we're starting to see is some sellers say, well, okay, maybe I'll just sell and rent for a couple years until I can find what I want. Not a bad thing. I did that myself 8 years ago, 9 years ago when I was building a home. But you don't have to do that, okay? You don't have to. This can be handled correctly. And if enough sellers come on the market and enough buyers are out there, which we don't have that problem. I mean, right now, there's literally this many buyers. Let me put my hands so you can see them. And there's this many sellers, okay? So if you're a seller, that's the time to be on the market. But instead, what many sellers do is they say, well, I'm just going to wait until my flowers can be up in my garden, until there can be mulch and all that. Okay, when you do that, you'll have more to compete with. I talk about this every year. Now, I fully recognize and understand that this year it's a little more stressful. There are people out there that are legitimately concerned about the virus. And I mean, let's face it, we all should have some concern, and we all should be exercising caution. And we all should be doing all we can to prevent the spread or prevent getting it. But I want to tell you something, and I'm going to give a shout out to our agents. These updates aren't usually advertisements for our company, but there's going to be a couple times I'm going to have to tell you about some things because I know this video will be viewed by probably thousands of our buyers. and at least hundreds of our sellers, hopefully more sellers. I'm going to tell you something. Our realtors have adhered to strict safety protocols better than I've ever seen any realtors do. They're doing a terrific job. They are making sure that whoever goes into our listings is wearing gloves. They're making sure that people aren't walking around touching 50 different things, switching lights and all that. They're ironing those things out in advance, okay? We are very, very careful about that, and I'm going to share the website that we use for that. We use, if you want to log on to safehomeshowing.com, that's safehomeshowing.com. It talks about the precautions we're taking. I haven't heard of any cases of the virus spreading at all, having anything to do with our listings. And truth be told, I haven't heard of that even with other listings. I mean, realtors as a whole have done a terrific job, and I want to mention that. Now what I want to do is I want to take a step backwards, okay? And I want to talk about 2020. I'm going to bring up that housing report from 2020 because I just want to walk through it. Now, if you're thinking, well, hold on, tell me what to do if I'm a seller, tell me what to do if I'm a buyer, don't worry, I'm going to get there. For those of you that want to buy and you want to sell, I'm going to get there. I'm going to spend 10 minutes on it. But I want to go one step at a time. And to get you to the right places, what I need to do is teach you how this happened, show you how this happened, illustrate for you how this happened. Because if I do that, you're going to have a much better understanding of what's going to happen in the months and in the year to come. And as I admitted to you, there was something I was wrong about in 20. I was right with most of my predictions, but there was one thing that I was, and when I say I was wrong, I was this wrong, but I was, and I have to come clean with you all because many of you have been watching me for several months talking to you about the housing market. So take a look at this. This is our 2020 year in review housing report for Massachusetts. Now you'll see the title that we named for it was 2020 real estate sales in Massachusetts defy the virus. Well, if that isn't true, I don't know what is. Now, give you a quick synopsis of it. Check out this image, okay? Home sales, right there. That's the part I was wrong on. Look at these numbers. 2019, there were 91,926 homes that sold in Massachusetts. 2020, 92,796. Now, that's only what, like 800 and, I don't know, 80 something difference, right? Homes that actually sold difference. It's a small amount, but it did happen. Now, I doubted it. I'll be honest. I told you all this, and I started realizing back in the fall that I might have been wrong. But I remember when the virus was going on, well, it's still going on, but back when things were bad, I said, we're going to run out of months. We won't be able to make up for the amount of time we lost. Well, we did because the demand is so significant. And remember, this is all homes. This is single families, multis, condos. So let me keep going through this report. I want to show you a couple notable things before we get into my predictions for 21 and what buyers and sellers should be doing, okay? Now, if you look here, sales were up 1%. Again, small amount, but hey, I'll admit it. I was off on that. Then there's a connection here to the blog where I talked about how prices wouldn't fall. Anybody out there that's still doubting that, go read that blog. Click right there. I know Lindsay's going to put the 2020 housing report in the comments. Go read that blog. This is not 2008. Lindsay, maybe we put that in the comments too, because I'm still getting, I know realtors, one of them reached out to me last night and said, hey, when will all the foreclosures come? And I said, what? Why do you feel that's going to happen? And I explained to him why it won't. There'll be some. In the multifamily space, I see that happening a little bit more, but certainly not singles. And the condo, people avoiding condos is wearing off as well. So here's the homes sold every year going back to 2005, okay? You can see that we were neck and neck with 17. So bigger than 19, bigger than 18. It was a big year for home sales, no doubt. You can also see how the year shaped up. Right here, the turquoise color is 2020. The dark blue. Now look what happened. We come out of the gates. We were ahead in January. We were neck and neck in February. In March, we were ahead, but then it got ugly there for a few months because we were all stuck in our homes. But look what happened. Once we got ourselves July and August, we were neck and neck, and then bang, September, October, November, December. I will tell you in all honesty, I've never seen a fall as busy as the fall we just experienced. And it's just rolling right into January because there's a significant overhang of buyers that haven't found homes, and I'm going to talk more about that in my predictions. Now, let's look at prices. Prices in 2020 ended up about 8.8%, call it 9%. But look what happened. As the year went on, it accelerated. That acceleration is going into 2021. Same thing's happening. And look at these differences. I mean, this is significant. You take December to December, we're talking about more than 10% increase, more like a 12% increase when you compare December to December. So prices are clearly up. You look at every county, sales were up, prices are up. Well, hold on, prices were up. I don't know that sales were up. I think Suffolk might have been down slightly. But look at the inventory of homes for sale throughout the year in 2020 being in orange. Look at this. Right here is below. Okay, the whole year we were below. Now you look at the beginning of 21. Right now we've got about 10,000 homes for sale in Massachusetts, or even less than that. Let me peek. I have a document here. Yeah, we're up to 10,000, but at the beginning of this year we were more like, here's the document right here. This is all homes for sale. Beginning of this year we were about 9,000. So now we're starting the year here. Now pay attention, buyers that are frustrated. This is why it feels worse than ever, because folks, it is worse than ever. We've never had this lack of a demand. I'm sorry. We've never had this much of a lack of supply and this strong of demand, but it's going to get better. As we get to spring, it always gets better, and it will get especially better this year because there are sellers that have been sitting on the sidelines and they've been dying to list. But what do I think is going to happen? I think 21 is going to be about here, and then we'll start climbing when we get into spring, but I'll talk about that more after. There's homes listed, blah, 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 my outlook. Okay, let's jump to 21 predictions and spend a few minutes on this here. You'll see that I recapped 20, if you want to look at this. I talked about interest rates. Now, my friends, let's get back together here for a few minutes and talk about interest rates. This is part of the why. So when I told you that part of the reason that there's so little inventory is their homes are getting eaten up. Another, when I go like this, that's my Pac-Man thing, right? Like as the homes get listed, remember the game Pac-Man? The homes get eaten up. Now, the other thing that happens is interest rates fell. And if you look at this, I want to show you all this graph. You can see interest rates, I'm trying to find the right colors to describe it to you correctly. The 15 years in green, 30 years in blue. Interest rates really fell. Now back here, we're back in 18, 19. Look at the beginning of 20, what happened? They just completely collapsed. We actually have to get a better graph on this. But what we were trying to show was through 20. We're going to get a more extended graph on this. But take a look at that. They went down, and well, folks, they ended up down here, a 30-year fixed rate. They ended up like 2.5%. So what does that do? That adds to the amount of buyers that can buy, right? It increases the buyer pool. Now something else happened. So I've told you the reasons so far. Less people listing their homes, interest rates going down, buyers coming out in droves, people wanting their own space. There was also an exodus from the city of Boston, but I'll tell you, Boston is getting better. We're noticing it in the last 90 days, especially in the last 30. The interest in Boston is coming back. Boston's a major city, one of the largest in the country. Every year, Boston supplies, I like to say supplies, a continuous flow of buyers who live there renting an apartment or in a condo, and they move out and they sell and move to the suburbs. Well, 10 months ago, when COVID really got bad, people said, well, I was thinking of leaving in a year or the next year. I'm leaving now. And people took off, right? So it created this wave of people running out to the suburbs. So these are the things that have contributed to where we're at. Now, if you're a buyer listening, say, tell me what I do, tell me what I do. I promise you I'm going to get there, okay? Talk about some of it here. Again, here is snapshot of homes for sale, 2020. Look at this. This right here, our graphic design person who does all our reports, Cole Gagaro, literally phenomenal reporting she's been working so hard on. Right here, look at 2021. We started 6,500 homes. It's just crazy. the beginning of the year. I said 9,000 a few minutes ago, but it's gone up, right? More homes have come up for sale, but we're starting the year so incredibly low. Look at home prices. This is part of what I want to explain. This is exciting to a seller, frustrating to a buyer, but buyers, I want you to have the confidence. Everybody said prices would collapse last April. I said they would not. I shouldn't say everybody. Most people said they would collapse. I said they would not. The reason is inventory went down. Prices do not collapse when inventory goes down. So I understand you're frustrated as a home buyer, but you have to understand once you actually get a home, your value is going to go up. Values appreciating, increasing is accelerating. Look at this. Right around low 500s, average sale price in Massachusetts. We ended the year the same way, right around there. It's just not filled in yet because this is an end of 20 report. Now, when will it end? Well, if you read my predictions, it says right here, I'm sorry to say it won't end anytime soon. Sellers just don't list early enough each year. April is the soonest that we'll see relief. Now, sellers, if you hear that, you should say, this guy might possibly know what he's talking about. If you are thinking of selling, put your home on the market, especially where it's a mild winter. It makes it even easier. I can understand if there's snow everywhere and you don't want people tramping through your house. I get it. But it's a mild winter. Yes, it's finally cold this weekend, but the buyers are out there. They have a lack of choices. They're frustrated. They're willing to pay more. And honestly, I don't blame buyers for being willing to pay more because prices are going up. Even if you overpay by $20,000 on a $400,000 house, let's say you overpay by 5%, who cares? You wait 6 months. It's worth that. Now, got to be careful with appraisals. I do smell appraisal issues coming in the next few months. It's getting harder for appraisers, but truth be told, it's going to be hard. We have a tough 45 days on our hands. We're in the midst of the worst of it right now. This is it. We're here. We've got to deal with it. Now, if more sellers list, it will get easier. Those sellers will be happy that they did. I promise. But not enough will. There isn't enough sellers out there that could satisfy the demand. So if you look at this, that's what we're dealing with. Now, what I said was for my predictions of 21, okay, we will end up with the largest year of home sales since 2005. I do not see us beating 05. Here's why. There was a massive new construction boom. I think permits for new construction homes was at the highest ever in 03 and 04. It made it so that 04 and 05 had the largest amount of home sales. Look at these numbers right here. 04, 05, about 110,000, 108,000 homes sold. I don't see that this year, but I'll tell you right now, mark my words, this is going to be the first year since 05 that we go over 100,000 homes for sale. It's going to happen. This is it here. Now, some people might say, oh, does that mean the market's going to crash? Folks, much different market than we were dealing with then. Then there were tons of buyers because banks were giving money out to everybody that would take it. Banks were doing 100% financing. They're not doing that now. People are putting good down payments down. And that's one of the problems. Buyers are getting beat out by cash buyers. If you're one of those buyers, I hear you. Just hang on. It's going to get easier, okay? Because more is going to get listed. And if you're working with a Lamakia agent, you have a significant advantage. And I'm going to talk about that advantage. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab my pen, and I'm going to talk about that advantage in a minute. Because that has to do, or in a few minutes, that has to do with our Lamakia Lynx system and why you have an advantage if you're working with one of our buyers, because we have a system that matches our buyers and sellers every single night. I promise you I'll get into that. I'm going to make a note so that I don't forget, and I'm going to go over that shortly. Let's stay on the predictions, though. So like I said, sales will be the highest since 2005. Now, look at this right here. If you're a buyer, don't get discouraged. I'm going to put the whole screen on this for you, and I'm even going to zoom a little bit. Getting really fancy with my computer. If you're if you're a buyer, don't get discouraged. Just get yourself in a position that you are ready to strike. Okay, now I'm at the part of the presentation where I'm going to talk about what do you do if you are a buyer. This is it. You've got to get yourself in a position that you're ready to strike. I'm going to pull that blog up. We also have a PDF at our company that our realtors use. You've got to get yourself ready. You can't be the type of buyer that, oh, I'll get ready once I find a home. No. You'll never get an offer accepted that way. Have your pre-approval ready. Get your financials to your mortgage broker on a continuous basis so they're ready and they can continuously give you an updated pre-approval. Have a personal letter ready. Now, this is a little bit up for debate. If you're going to write a personal letter, tell them how you're going to take care of their home. Congratulate them on their nice home. Don't start getting into family and all that fair housing stuff. If you work with one of our realtors, they'll tell you about it. Be willing to offer over asking. Here's some comparative properties here that we show, and we show properties selling over asking. Be willing to do things like an escalation clause. I will pay $5,000 over the highest offer up to X. That's what that talks about. Consider waiving home inspections. That's another one. That's a dicey one. I have to be careful as a realtor. I'm not going to make a blanket statement and say everybody should not do a home inspection, but just know that you're competing with people that aren't, and you have to be prepared for that. Perhaps waive the contingency, but still do it. And if you lose your money, fine. That's potentially an option. Increase your down payment. Be flexible on closing date. That one right there, folks, is a big one that means a lot to sellers. It means a lot. Okay, so think about that one. It'll make it easier. Maybe be willing as a buyer to allow the seller to use the property for a week or two or a month after you buy it so that they then have time to move into their other home. The key here, folks, is buyers and sellers have got to come together. They've got to work together and make it easier. Understand each other's position. Okay, Mr. Seller, you can't leave. I understand. I'll give you a month. I'll give you some time. Okay, buyers, you need this. Let me work with you. If buyers and sellers all started raising their hands, yes, I'm willing to sell. Yes, I want to buy. We would solve this very frustrating situation very quickly. Okay? And I've been thinking about how to talk about that out loud on television, which I may be. But I want to mention that because buyers need to understand that you've got to get yourself ready. Now, a few realtors in our company and a realtor at another company in the last 3 days reached out to me and said, hey, what do you think about buyers saying they want to make offers on multiple properties? There are buyers now that are saying, hey, if a seller can get multiple offers and field the one they want, why can't I make offers on multiple properties? And whoever gets accepted, I buy the home. Here's the problem with that. When you make an offer, that's a contract. You're proposing a contract. If they accept, you're contractually obligated. Now, some people will argue, well, as long as I'm willing to give up my deposit, well, true. But when you make an offer, you're supposed to be making an offer in good faith. So it's not something that I can stand here as a broker owner and a realtor of a large real estate brokerage and say, hey, go do that. I don't really recommend that, but I hear what you're saying. My recommendation of what you can do as a buyer is like this. First, get yourself completely ready to strike. I'm sure Lindsay put the link in. Yes, it is. It's right there. Get yourself completely ready to strike. Work with your realtor. Get an understanding of what you need to do to be ready. Establish a good relationship with your mortgage broker so that they can talk to a listing agent once you find the right property. In addition to that, there are other things you can do. Now, this is where I'm going to plug the company for a couple minutes because it's the God's honest truth. So, for those of you who have been following our company a long time, I want to tell you, we have been on television since 2006. We have had a heavy schedule on television since 2010. There's not a week that goes by that we don't talk to a seller that calls in or our inside sales team reaches out to them that has been in our system 5, 8, 9 years that says, hey, I'm finally ready. I want to sell. Okay? So we have a database of thousands upon thousands of sellers. I'm not going to tell you the exact number, but I can tell you that it is thousands. Then we have a database of buyers that's in the hundreds of thousands. Why? Because we're the largest buyer of online leads in New England. Because we run our own ads on Google, on Facebook, and we bring in droves of leads from television, online, billboards, etc. Well, our vice president of sales about a year and a half ago got a vision. His name's Dave. And he said, all these leads we have in the database now, we should be getting these leads to see if there's any matches. Every day we get calls from this community, that community, North Shore, South Shore, Worcester County, Metro West, Boston. And Anthony, every single day of every week, we have buyers that are looking to buy in all those areas. We could have a realtor signing someone up to buy a 4-bedroom home in Grafton, and we could have another realtor that has a 4-bedroom home in Grafton that's going to be listed in 3 months. Or maybe they're not sure when they're going to list, but they're in the system as a lead. And I said, geez, you're right. So we come up with a system and we call it our Lynx System. This Lynx System, every single night at midnight, matches our buyers and sellers and spits out matches. It says to our realtors, hey, Kelly, go talk to Denise. Denise has a buyer that might be interested in your listing at 123 Main Street. And then it says, hey, Denise, go talk to Kelly. Kelly has, blah, blah, blah. Buyers and sellers back and forth, right? It doesn't say the address. It doesn't say the client's name because there has to be walls up for confidentiality. So it might say to Kelly, hey, Denise has a buyer for your listing. And then it will say to Denise, talk to Kelly about her listing for your buyer at, your buyer, Joe Schmo. And then the realtors in our company reach out to them. We also do this on all the leads in the database that are company leads, and our inside sales team helps make connections. Well, we did a little study. And we found out that we're getting about 4 matches a day. Now, imagine how elated you will be as a buyer if you cannot find a property and the realtor that you're working with says, hey, I've got something. These people, they're not totally ready to list, but they've been thinking about it. They live on such and such street, and they have given permission for you to drive by the home and see if you'd be interested. You'd be over the moon. Folks, that type of stuff is happening here at Lamakia Realty every single day, okay? Every day. So we're getting 4 matches a day. Now, not every seller is saying, yeah, send them by, I'm interested. But it's happening. In addition to our Lynx system of leads that haven't signed up yet, we have this kind of call it a branch off of it that is our pre-list. So when sellers sign up with us to sell their home, right now we have about 250 properties in our pre-list. These are sellers who've signed up to list their home at some point in the next 60 or 90 days. They are selling. They are very serious. Well, the Lynx system goes through that as well. It also goes through this other thing that we call our off-market list. Our off-market list is sellers who've said, I'm not quite ready to sign up with you, but I would like to be contacted if you get someone who would like to buy my home, someone that might be interested in my home. So there's kind of like 3 levels. Obviously, the pre-list is people that are scheduled to come on the market in the next few months. They're the most serious. The next level is the sellers who haven't signed up, but they've said, yeah, I want to be on that off-market list. And then the next one is just simply the leads. Those are 50-50. Not every single one of them bites the hook with saying, yes, have the buyer come by. But my friends, this is a distinct advantage of working with a realtor at Lamakia Realty. So if you're working with one of our realtors now and you're frustrated, I understand. We're frustrated with you. But don't think for 1 second that you're going to do better somewhere else, because you're not. There is not a company that I know of in this business that matches buyer and seller leads by the hundreds of thousands every night at midnight. There's not. That's something special, proprietary, and unique to us that we have. Now, there might be other companies I don't know of, but I doubt you'll find it, and you should ask your realtors. But I wanted to say that to buyers who are working with our realtors. If you're feeling like maybe you're not doing as good as you can, know that our system works. Go look it up on the website. Lindsay, why don't we post a link to the Lynx system? Let them read about it. I don't care if it's, more business to business talk. That's fine. Now, what do you do if you're a seller? I want to talk to you all because you all need a lot of advice right now, okay? I understand that there is fear lurking out there big time. And your fear is, well, where the hell am I going to move if my home sells? And you're also hearing these stories about how homes are selling right away, and it's making you even more scared. You're pulling back even more with the idea of listing your home for sale. I get it. I hear you. But here's the problem. There's a number of problems. Number one, you're looking in the wrong places. You're being like a typical consumer. You're going on Zillow. You're going on Realtor.com. I have news for you about Zillow. 25% of the homes that look like they're for sale on there aren't even for sale. And they're never going to be for sale because they're pre-foreclosures. Zillow has gotten a lot better in the last 10 years. They used to be missing lots of properties. That's not the case. But they do have some syndication problems with back on markets. If a home goes under contract, a home inspection's done, buyer bails out, property goes back on market. Could be a 24-hour delay before it's back on Zillow. This is why you need to be working with a realtor. You have to. And you have to put some trust into a realtor. The realtors here at Lamacchia Realty have significant training on how to work with people that are buying and selling, how to make sure that they're covered, how to make sure that they're contractually protected so that they don't end up homeless, okay? That's something that you need to be aware of, and you need to put some trust into them because, my friends, here's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with all kinds of sellers by the thousands, well, really by, I don't know if I'll say millions, but it's hundreds of thousands across the nation. They're like, I don't know, I don't want to take that step because I don't see anything I want. Then when you find something you want, you try to buy it, but that seller won't accept your offer till your home has some progress. You need to get your home ready. You need to get it ready to list. You have to already have your realtor hired. You have to have your pictures done. You have to have everything ready. And then you can find the right home to strike on. Or you list to sell first and you put a contingency in that says sale is subject to suitable housing. See, what a lot of realtors think, what a lot of sellers think is as soon as they call a realtor, they think we're this amazing. Hi, realtor, that their home just sells, right? That doesn't happen. It doesn't just sell. You have to talk to them. You have to get prepared. Then if the realtor comes over to your house doesn't just magically go up for sale. They could hold your house and wait. I had a situation last year, an attorney friend was looking to buy a new home down the Cape. And this person said, we want to buy a new home down the Cape. I had our inside salesperson call her. She calls me the next day. Oh, we're not selling. We're just going to wait. We're just going to wait. I said, I don't believe that. You're not selling. You're not willing to take a step until you see what you want. Yeah, because where else are we going to go? The summer's about to start. I said, slow down. You need to meet with a realtor. You need to get on a very good realtor's radar that you want to sell. And then you need to tell them what you're looking to buy, because when you tell them what you're looking to buy, they're going to lurk and look for it. And they're going to call you one day and find it. Fast forward about to August 20th. This person texted me, said, Anthony, we're at our new Cape home. Our son is swimming in the pool because of that conversation we had that day when you convinced me to take a step. That's the problem. There's sellers out there that they're just not willing to take a step. And folks, if you sellers aren't ever willing to take a step, you're never going to achieve what you want. You have to at least talk to a realtor so they can walk you through it. I want to show you something on our website. This is a page that we put together a couple years ago, and we call it Want to Be Sellers. So don't be offended by that. I don't know if people love being called a wannabe, but it's true. There are thousands upon thousands of sellers out there across Massachusetts, across New England, across Florida that want to sell, but they're scared to take the first step. We're going to put this link. Oh, looks like Lindsay already did. Click on this and watch these videos. This is just a broad overview. Then I get into selling without listing. Folks, this is happening every day. People are selling without listing their homes on the open market. We buy homes before people list them. Okay? We have a few reselling this month. We bought 3 homes in December through our Offer Now program. There's several ways to sell without listing. One of them is just get signed up, get in our Lynx system, get on our pre-list that I mentioned. And when you get in there, right, matches are happening. And then in one of those days, one of those months, all of a sudden, we'll call you. A realtor will call you. Hey, I've got a buyer interested in your home. You never listed. Now, we obviously list the vast majority of what we sell, but here's the deal, folks. We sold over $100 million worth of real estate last year off market. We sold over $1 billion in real estate total, but over 100 million of it was off-market sales, meaning it never been listed. It's not because we tried not to list homes. It's because our system got these buyers and sellers connected before. $100 million. Think about that. You could be one of those sellers. Then there's a video that talks about being worried about moving twice. Then it talks about not finding what you want because you're looking in all the wrong places. Then it talks about listing does not mean you have to move out. Remember I mentioned that? That a lot of sellers think that once they list their home, it's just like, poof, it's gone. That's not how it works, okay? A realtor will protect you. They should. They had better. And if you hire one that understands the art of working with a buyer and seller, which it is, when you work with a realtor, an everyday realtor can help you buy a home, an everyday realtor can help you sell a home, but you do have to have someone that's a little bit more seasoned in the business to help you buy and sell at the same time. Our realtors have that training. Okay, we train on that every single week, and we have seasoned vets that help in it. Okay, so have that confidence not to be scared, because if you forever and ever are like this, you're never going to achieve what you want. Raise your hand. Let us know. Okay, now I can take questions for a few minutes. I do want to mention, I'm going to take questions, I should say, in a few minutes. I want to mention that our New Hampshire housing report is coming out tomorrow morning. Or it might already be out. Our Florida housing report, it's already out, Lindsay. Our Florida housing report is coming out tomorrow morning. There's been droves of people looking to buy down in Florida. That's coming out tomorrow morning. And on Thursday, I will be doing a Florida real estate market update in Fort Lauderdale. And my background won't be like this. It'll be the whole city of Fort Lauderdale and the ocean, which is a lot better looking. So I wanted to mention those couple of things. I also want to say, again, sellers and buyers, you can accomplish what you want, but you've got to work together, okay? Buyers, have a little bit of patience. It's going to get easier as we get to spring. If you're not working with a Lamacchia realtor, you might want to rethink that. Sellers, don't be scared. Put a little confidence in the agents. Give them a chance to do what they do best and help you find the right home, okay? So I walked you through the 20 housing report. I walked you through my predictions. I showed you single families, talked to you about the Lynx system, talked to you about ready to strike. Now I'll take questions. Had to make sure that I did everything. So let me scroll up here, and I'm going to look for some questions. I think Jill Hogan, who is an awesome Waltham realtor, her and her mom, Diane Lombardi, they asked, can I share it with sellers? Absolutely. Go nuts. Send it to them. Right now on Facebook. We're going to also cut the video up so you can send these specific parts. Denise talked about lumber prices going crazy right now. Yes, Denise, we are in the midst of rehabbing a old 260-year-old building in Chelmsford that's going to be our regional office, branch office up there. We're moving all our Westford office in. Gorgeous old building. Buying lumber like crazy because we're rehabbing the whole place. Paul Cervoni mentioning a couple things. That's good. Lindsay, let's pull some questions up. Marla Mays, how easy is it to sell a 3-family in this current market? Okay, Marla, can you comment and tell me where the 3-family is? If you're in Boston, it's a little harder. Great time to buy. Great time to buy, but it's a little bit harder right now. It is getting easier. Buyers are more interested in buying in Boston. There was 6 solid months that people were avoiding the city. Aren't you better serving your seller clients by listing them on MLS? So Tom, great realtor, always watching a lot of the things that we do. Tom, in some cases I agree with that, but here's the thing, it's up to the seller. And you know this, you're a great realtor. We do recommend to sellers, hey, list on the open market. But there are sellers, and we see it often, who say, hey, you know what? I know maybe I can get 10 grand more, but if I can sell at, 500,000, I'm happy. And if I can close on my terms, I'm happy. Well, that's the seller's decision for them to make. And that's why we saw a lot of that last year. And I think we're going to see more of that this year. Show us the New Hampshire report. Okay, I'll do that for you. Let's see here. I'm at lamacchiarealty.com. I'm going to click on blog. I'm going to share the screen with you all. Let's take a peek at New Hampshire. Here's the New Hampshire report. Okay, so you know what? Let me spend 5 minutes on that. Lindsay, we'll cut this and we'll put it on Facebook on that page. It'll be fine. New Hampshire home sales were down 12%. Prices were up 16%. So kind of wacky that this happened up there. To be honest, it surprised me a little. They didn't have as much of a crazy downfall in sales in 20 as we did back when the pandemic happened, but it ended up increasing. It was very busy up there. Southern New Hampshire was bananas. Northern New Hampshire, a little slower, so kind of an odd thing, but prices were up dramatically, 16%. You can see right here, what did I just got through saying? Massachusetts prices were up. What did I say on my prior? I got to go peek now. Too many reports I'm looking at. Massachusetts prices were up 8.8%. So New Hampshire saw a large amount of price growth. I would not be frightened by home sales slowing. That's just because there's not enough being listed for sale. And remember, everybody and their mother who owned a second home in New Hampshire went running up there and stayed there all summer and didn't list. So that's a big part of what decreased the amount of home sales up there. But look at prices the whole year. Then we get into homes sold and average prices. Look, we finished 2020 with the highest average prices we've ever seen in New Hampshire. Homes pending is very strong. It's just there's not enough listings. I do think that'll get better as time goes on, but we'll put that in there for you all. Let's see if we have any other questions that I should be answering. Thank you, Tom. I knew you'd agree, buddy. You know, you could answer that question, right? So, my friends, that concludes my Massachusetts real estate market update. I touched on New Hampshire for you a little bit. We're going to put that report out, and we're also releasing the Florida report tomorrow morning. I will be back to see you all in late February. You might see me sooner. This market is interesting, so I might come on and do an update sooner, but you can bet on me being back in late February to give you a more extensive update. Please do continue to submit your questions to us, your thoughts, even if you disagree. We like them. It helps us put our reporting together because we want to answer what consumers are asking. Thank you all very much. That concludes my update.